Hey there, everybody. Today we are going to do a deeper talk episode and also talk a little bit about the colors of communication. Welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser and I am your host. This is a show that is intended to provide insight and tools to building the life and homestead of your dreams. Today's Friday, September 24th, 2021. This is episode number 201. And I said we would do a deeper talk episode and have a little chat on the colors of communication. But initially I was going to talk about the colors of communication. It's a new idea that was introduced to me last night at our church council meeting, and there's a number of different projects, things that people are collaborating on, and there's been, I don't necessarily want to say frustration, but it sounds like there are some challenges, and there have been some challenges in the past where people talk about things that they want to do, but these things never really get done. And it sounds like people find themselves talking about some of these things for years and years and years, but they don't really have the proper channels set up or the proper protocols in place to actually execute on some of these ideas. And that totally makes sense. And at the root of this is our inability to communicate with one another effectively. And even as I talk a little bit about this down the road, or down the driveway at least, I think I'm going to save this for another day. I'll try to find some resources to link to it in the show notes, because I can't even, for the life of me, based on my own pencil notes, it was hard to wrap my head around everything, let alone spell what it is that we were talking about, or who came up with this concept. Spell his name or her name appropriately. So let's just do a deeper talk question for the day. And for those who don't know, this deeper talk deck is an expansion of the Icebreaker deck. It's great for one-on-one and group conversations, and it comes with 150 cards split across 6 categories, one of which I will choose right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and select from the beliefs section, which is the very first one. Pick a card at random. This one says, what beliefs would you want to pass on to your children or grandchildren? And I'll roll with it. I initially was going to throw it at the back of the deck and pick another card, because I don't have children or grandchildren. However, I am now an uncle, and I will have some responsibility in the lives of my young nieces and nephew at this point. Perhaps there would be more nephews as time goes on, but only time will tell. What beliefs would I want to pass on to my children or grandchildren if I were to have them? Well, they would be the same beliefs that I have right now, beliefs that I would want to pass on to my nieces and nephews. They're beliefs that I have. And I guess if anything else, above and beyond anything else, the belief that I have is that our beliefs can change, and they will change based on what we are actively learning and applying. at any given moment in our life. That, my friends, is important to understand, because we so often cling to some sort of ideology that more often than not isn't even our own. It's, if anything, it's an amalgamation of ideas, content that's been provided by and created by others. We just regurgitate what we consume. Very few of our own ideas actually are original. Very few of the ideas that we share are our own. Think about that. Unless you're a true creative or an artist, and even if you are, you've been inspired by someone at some point, and their work reflects in your own. Of all of the beliefs that I've had over the years, of all of those that have changed, there are a couple of principles that I believe to be universal, that I believe to be common amongst all people. And this belief is one that I want to share with those who are closest to me in this life. Those principles, my friends, are the principles of voluntarism and the principle of non-aggression. I am a firm believer that people should only interact and engage with one another of their own free will and of their own accord. And that, at its core, is voluntarism, voluntary interactions with one another. At the end of the day, the reality is, with government the way that it is, should you find yourself in non-compliance with taxes, for example, men will come, if you choose not to pay them, that is. Eventually, men with guns will come and put you in a cage unless you pay what's due to the government. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, taxation is the taking of what one has earned or gained through the threat of violence at the point of a gun. Because that's ultimately what happens. I'm also not one of these people that actually believes that and thinks that we can simply just not pay taxes and not have government and everything is going to be this grand utopia. First of all, it's never going to happen. And second of all, it's never going to happen. So the dialogue about the government and all of these things, it's interesting to have, but the fact of the matter is we have a quite large and extensive federal government. We have a quite large and extensive, not near as large and extensive at that, as for that matter, state government. And depending on where you live, we've got municipal and local governments, as well as HOAs and governments of choice for those who choose to live in those areas who just can't get enough. And if you're one, that's okay. I am not. And I choose to engage in life more often than not with people who don't go the route of the HOA in their life. What beliefs would you want to pass on to your children or grandchildren? Well, like I said, the understanding that beliefs change based on what we learn. And it is critical to never stop learning and to never stop reading. For no matter what happens in the state, and no matter what level of control they try to exert in your life, the one who reads is the one who has knowledge, and the one who has knowledge is the one who has power. The one who has power is not necessarily the one who overcomes, but is the one who is set free. And beyond that, beyond the knowledge changing, continued learning, several simple principles that aren't hard to understand, but challenging for some. The principle of non-aggression and voluntarism, the understanding, the idea, the belief, if you will, that only those who wish to interact with one another should interact with one another. Guys, it's Friday today. Like I said, it's the 24th. It's chilly. It's been chilly the last few mornings. We didn't reach much beyond 50 degrees yesterday. And it's a little bit later than normal today as I drive into work. The sun has risen now. The past few days it's been dark, so I've tried to get in a little early, but I had a late night yesterday at the church council meeting that I spoke of. And then I got home and had a snack and got distracted with a couple things and went to bed later than I normally do. It was worth it, though. I was able to tune into Hotep's Been Told You on Thursday night. See if I can drop a link to the Hotep's Been Told You show, which streams live every Thursday night. Uncle Hotep and Hotep Jesus. Good stuff there from Hotep Nation. And that's something I don't get to listen to live oftentimes because it's boys are on later than old Uncle Rob stays up. But on account of the council meeting last night, it was nice to tune in live, drop some comments, interact with everyone, and I had a good time. We're about 500 or 600 in the room, and I don't know. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Hotep's Been Told You with Uncle Hotep and Hotep Jesus. I'll try to remember to drop a link in the show notes when I get in And I will also drop links in the show notes to everything that is normally in the show notes, which is a link to the Telegram group chat with myself and a number of other audience members, t.me/allaroundgrowth, or you can find it just by searching for All Around Growth in the Telegram groups. There's also a broadcast channel with updates, t.me/allaroundgrowth-podcast, and a quick video on how to leave a rating and review in the show notes as well, which is encouraged if you want to help expose audience members to the show. So that's it, everybody. People are here. I'm going to lower my voice so as not to reveal what it is that I'm doing, because I'm still self-conscious about what it is that I'm doing. So guys, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.